As expected, Ferrari's front row at Manicourt. Ferrari's 200th pole position being claimed by Kimi Räikkönen ahead of Felipe Massa. Lewis Hamilton, you saw there qualifying third fastest, but he'll go back to 13th on that grid. So this is how they line up tomorrow. Front row of Räikkönen and Massa, and then Alonso and Trulli, both outstanding in the Renault and the Toyota. Heikki Kovalainen on row 3 with Robert Kubica, the World Championship leader. Webber and Coulthard, then Glock and Piquet. But Mark, how would you sum up the task that lies ahead of Lewis Hamilton tomorrow after that session?
It's going to be very difficult for Lewis, and in some ways, as I say, I think we reflected on it earlier, he'd be praying for rain, and I think that's his best opportunity to try and win this event. But if he can just make a bit of headway off the start, we've seen that by Lewis before, then he's got half a chance of a podium.
In many ways, he rose to the occasion at the climax of qualifying today, as he so often does. Made it hard for himself with that mistake early on in Q3.
Yeah, well, on his first run there, he was on a very good lap, actually, but just pushed a little bit too hard and just lost it, and he lost valuable tenths of a second. And at this point, we felt that maybe it was all over for him, and we also felt that maybe they were running him heavy on fuel, and so we saw this mistake. But that was a commitment by Lewis, but at the same time, he knew he had to go out there and do another run, and he also knew that he couldn't afford to make a mistake like that for that last run. And he went back out, and he actually did a very good lap indeed, and he pushed himself up to P3, but effectively, as we know, P13 on the grid.
It's possible. It was a couple of years ago, I think 3 years ago, that Räikkönen started from 13th on the grid, finished on the podium. So anything is possible, especially if we get these forecast thunderstorms moving in tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, P13 unlucky for some, but as you say, Räikkönen did it a couple of seasons ago. But it will be very difficult indeed with the amount of cars out there and the close proximity of them in terms of pace for Lewis to push himself through on that grid tomorrow.
Consolation for McLaren is that the BMWs have struggled today as well, but they should be concerned about the form of Alonso, shouldn't they?
Very concerned indeed, because Fernando Alonso has just been creeping up all weekend long, and when it came to it for this last qualifying session, bang, he's in there and puts his Renault on the second row. I think he's got a very consistent race car underneath him, and I think he's got a very good possibility of taking some points away from McLaren and from the BMW guys.
And equally, Jarno Trulli is right in the mix as well.
Yeah, Trulli, we know he's a great qualifying specialist. They seem sometimes to drop off in the race of that Toyota, but you never know. Maybe this will suit the circuit, and the car in particular.
Disappointment from the McLaren point of view once again with the performance of Heikki Kovalainen.
I think there will be some disappointment there. I think they would have liked him to be pushing up for the first or front row. Definitely it would have been the focus for him. But yeah, Kovalainen not quite getting the job done. And again, it's valuable points what they need to be trying to find for tomorrow's race, and trying to make sure that those Ferraris don't go off into the distance.
But those, not McLarens, but Ferraris are set to dominate tomorrow. Let's remember that the World Championship leader, though, is Robert Kubica, who's had his problems, along with his BMW teammate Nick Heidfeld today. Let's hear from Kubica, who's with Louise.
Robert, very different story here to 2 weeks ago in Canada.
Well, I mean, in Canada, in qualifying, we were helped by conditions of the track, so it helped us a lot. But here, after yesterday, we were a bit struggling, and I was expecting difficult qualifying, and in fact it was difficult qualifying. But yeah, we will see.
Why do you think you're struggling?
We have not enough pace.
Explain to us how, or people back home maybe, why it should be that a car that is winning at one race and is then struggling at the next.
Yeah, but we have to point out that we won because the others has done mistakes and has problems. In the end, if you look Canada or Monaco, we were 6 tenths off, or 5-6 tenths off, and here the gap is very similar. We are struggling a bit more here. I don't know why. Maybe the other teams has improved. We maybe didn't, and that's the reason. What
about the characteristics of the track?
I mean, last year we were strong here. This year looks opposite. This is racing. I mean, we have to analyze. We saw yesterday already that we have problem with the overall grip, but it looks like we could have fixed it.
Robert Kubica, who will start off the third row tomorrow alongside Heikki Kovalainen. Lewis Hamilton qualified third fastest this afternoon. He takes a 10-place penalty, drops down to 13th. But as far as the post-qualifying press conference is concerned, he's one of the top three. So we'll be hearing from Lewis along with Felipe Massa and Kimi Räikkönen right after the break.
Kimi, not quickest in Qs 1 and 2, but you've looked fast all weekend. A difficult qualifying session nonetheless, very hot. Tell us all about it.
It's nothing new for me, not being so quick in first and second. The car is so much different when you have no fuel and then when you have more fuel, so we've been working the whole weekend with the normal fuel load, so it's not always exactly how you want then when you take the fuel out. And the main thing is to be fastest in the end, so that worked out very well for us.
Well, it was a good-looking lap on from what we saw. Talk us through it from your point of view. Any way you could have improved? Was it perfect?
No, I mean, I had quite a bit faster lap, the lap that I came in the end, because the team told me box, because I was in the end, I was fastest anyhow, so was no point to waste one lap of fuel. So that lap was actually at least 2/10 faster, so just on the last moment I pulled in when I was supposed to turn in the last chicane, but they told me the box. So I mean, we had a good speed all weekend. The car has been working very well, and I mean, it's been a great weekend so far. But tomorrow is the one that we need to finish, and hopefully we can win, because we need some points now.
Very technical circuit here, demanding of the car and the driver. A lot of indecision, it appears, about the Bridgestone tyres here, the harder or the softer tyre.
Yeah, I don't think that there's much in it in one lap, either softer or harder tyre, but over the race, I think the harder is definitely the way to go. And for us, it's been working pretty well, both tyres, so in that way also we're in a good position.
So congratulations to you,
Thanks.
Kimi. And Felipe, congratulations to you too. The third Ferrari lockout on the grid we've seen this season. Very quick, as you say, into Q1 and 2, and very, very close going into Q3 there with Kimi.
Yeah, it's true. I was a little bit over driving too much on the Q3, trying to get the best out of the car, and I lost a little bit of times in the track, in a couple of corners as well, just trying to push too hard. But the car was also, we had a lot more fuel compared to the Q1 and Q2, so I just lost a little bit of time. So, but anyway, I think front row is good, and looking very much for the race tomorrow.
How would you quantify Ferrari's pace here? How does the car feel relative to other tracks you've been to of this sort of downforce level?
It feels very good. We had many good races this year, starting on the Malaysian. Okay, I didn't finish the race, but the car was very strong. And then we went to Bahrain, it was even stronger. So, and then we had a strong car in Barcelona as well. So in this kind of tracks, the car works very well, and I think we took the best of the car today, and the team did a great job as well.
Felipe, a sore neck yesterday, we gather. How are you feeling today?
No, it was a stupid thing, you know. I was just on the elevator, and I had a moment, and I felt my neck. So it was not even driving. So, and it was a little bit strange. And then I had a lot of pain yesterday on the sessions. This morning a little bit, but it's getting better and better. So tomorrow I'm sure it will be okay.
Congratulations to you. And Lewis, congratulations to you. A bittersweet moment for you in the top 3, but we know you have that 10-place penalty on the grid starting 13th. But I guess you'd be interested to know that in 2005, Kimi Raikkonen had a similar situation, qualified 3rd, 10-place penalty, and finished 2nd on Sunday.
Yeah, obviously he's shown that you can do it. It's quite a disappointing qualifying, I think, for us. Or for me, I have to apologise to the team. I didn't do a great job at all. You know, my first and second lap, I had the same mistake on both of them, and the exit of turn 7 and went wide, and for sure lost at least 0.3 or something there. So that's life. I was pushing, and I was trying to get the best out of the car. I believe I did in most areas, except that one, and so we just missed out. Nonetheless, we'll push very hard tomorrow.
How much has the penalty hanging over you affected the way you've approached the race weekend, strategy, and indeed your driving?
Yeah, it doesn't help, obviously. You know, it doesn't particularly hang over you, but you know, entering the weekend, you're coming out here to win. You feel confident, you feel comfortable. You know, the team have done absolutely everything they can to get you there and make sure the car's the best. And then you arrive there and you're automatically with a 10-point penalty. I mean, a 10-place penalty. Rules are rules, I guess. So, you know, we'll just do the best job we can, and we'll take it on the chin. We'll learn from it and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Putting all that to one side, how do you feel the McLaren Mercedes compares here with the Ferrari?
I think it's quite good, actually. It's obviously not the same as it was in Montreal. Slightly different circuit, and I think we generally have a very similar pace to them. I think in the last sector they seem to be pulling a little bit more than us, middle and last sector. But I generally feel that we've got quite good pace compared to them. We definitely are right up there with them, but they somewhere in the last sector they have a little bit more time than us.
So down here in the lower paddock, it's time to work on a bit of strategy, and I think the answer for Lewis there is to get his hands on Chitty Chitty Bang Bang if he can. He needs a miracle like that, doesn't he?
I think he's going to be in front of the red car on the left, which has to be a Ferrari, but yeah, amazing to see that.
What about Lewis tomorrow? I mean, he's putting a brave face on things, but to finish in the points is going to be the target, isn't it?
Yeah, he's going to finish in the points, I think. I think finishing on the podium really has to be the target because he needs those valuable points. If Ferrari go out there and get a 1-2 again, that's another big, hit into the World Championship for Lewis. And it's so costly what happened to him in Montreal when he turns up here, but that's one of those things.
So you reckon the Ferraris will go out there tomorrow and dominate?
I think they will, Steve, yeah. I don't think anybody's going to touch them. I think Renault are very strong. I think Kubica really strangled that car to get a lap out of it. And, consistently, I don't think they'll have the pace.
Be interesting to see what happens behind, the likes of Trulli, the likes of Alonso, and also the two Red Bulls. David Coulthard moving up now to row 4 after Lewis Hamilton's demotion, and we can hear from DC right now.
David, both cars inside the top 10, and as Mark was just telling us, that was something you weren't expecting on a close play on Thursday.
No, absolutely not. It's been very close, as I said to you before the session, with Renault. It looked like they were going to have 2 cars up there, and also our sister team were looking pretty quick, but in the end we're there, and reasonable fuel load, so quite happy with that.
Job well done then?
Yeah, I think so.
And he's looking forward to tomorrow, and rightly so.
Yeah, he is, and DC is actually very good round here. His style suits his circuit, and he's very experienced, as we've said many times before, but he's one of those guys who will be sitting back, watching what's going on, and don't be surprised to see him picking up a big handful of points come the end of this race.
So tomorrow, well, Lewis needs something, and the worry, of course, is that you look ahead to Silverstone, that is also a Ferrari circuit, isn't it?
Yeah, it does suit Ferrari at Silverstone, but I think a little bit of Brit power and Lewis turning up there will make the big difference. This weekend is what has got to be focused on first, and if he can just pull maybe 4th or 5th and approach trying to get that podium, then I think he's still in the hunt for the World Championship. It's going to be very, very tough.
But the Ferrari is so impressive. Raikkonen for you ahead of Massa tomorrow?
I'm not so sure about that. I think Massa may still have something up his sleeve. There's only a 10th of a second between them in qualifying, and it's a long race round here.
OK, we shall see. Mark, thanks very much indeed. Right, that's qualifying here at Manucourt. Let's just tell you that you've got live racing coming up very shortly indeed on ITV4 with live coverage of the GP2 race, which is just about to get underway here. That's on ITV4. Live coverage of the second race of the weekend. That's at 9:25 on ITV4 tomorrow morning. And still to come on ITV1, of course, tonight's 3rd European Championship quarter-final between Holland and Russia. That's live at 7:30 this evening, and it's followed on ITV1 by the big Amir Khan fight from Manchester. Amir looking to move closer to a world title with victory over Michael Gomez. That's live from 10:15. And the French Grand Prix build-up, that will start tomorrow at midday with the FIA GTs to follow on ITV4 on Grand Prix highlights at 11:45. OK, we'd like to finish on an optimistic note if we can for Lewis Hamilton, with him starting off row 6. That's difficult, but tomorrow, if he gets good luck, if he gets bad weather, and if he shows the spirit of a Turkish footballer, you never know what Lewis might achieve tomorrow. Join us for the French Grand Prix tomorrow afternoon. Bye-bye.